let's talk about what you're going to be, what shows you're competing in. How far out away?
Well, the first one for sure, it's early June, maybe the second Saturday of June 2013.
Okay.
It's in the one at Folsom.
Okay.
Next one is the Chris Jones versus Ogus one.
Okay.
July 13th, 2013, Muscle Mayhem.
Okay. And we're looking to create a posing routine.
I'd love to, yeah.
What do you want to display with this kind of posing routine?
I definitely want to hit some of the better shots that aren't mandatory poses. So get some really great stills, also really great footage of me hitting non-mandatory poses.
Right.
And also show my strong points, you know.
Right.
Also just really make a good posing routine that people are going to like to watch.
Okay.
Entertainment, so.
What about music? Let's get an idea of what you like for music.
I like everything, to be honest.
Everything.
Trance music.
What did you post
rock
last
music.
time?
I posed to it's like a famous YouTube song.
Okay.
Other than that, people don't really know it mainstream because it's just a YouTube song.
Will you be doing that again, or will you be using?
I don't know. It's iffy because I do like online songs that are royalty free in some ways, just because it's easier to get online. In some mainstream songs, sometimes they get blocked.
Right.
So that's just one small thing.
Right.
So I might lean towards a royalty free song, to be honest.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And let's talk about how many shows have you competed in?
Done 3 so far.
Were they the same posing routine for each?
It was a different one for each.
A different posing routine for each?
It was definitely a different one for the first, but then the second and the third, it was the same posing routine, but halfway through the first, or halfway through the second show, I forgot the routine. So I freestyled it, but on the last time, I got it right, I think.
Okay. And how much time did you put in for each of those routines?
The first show, we did it backstage. We put it together backstage. It was the most stressful hour of my life. Me and my girlfriend, we were like freaking out, just creating stuff in a mirror. The second one, I went to Jeff Albert's house. We probably spent an hour on it.
Okay.
And then the last one, we put it together. We spent a good 4, 5, 6 hours.
Okay.
And I practiced it quite a bit.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Good deal. Because we're looking at spending multiple hours, and more importantly, over the duration of a long amount of time, because that's how you get comfortable with the posing. We'll be breaking up the music in the segments. We'll be fitting poses into those segments, and then further going deeper into it and making transitions that fit those poses. So it's going to be a little more in depth. I just want to make sure that I make it clear. There's not one right way to do everything. Right. This is me trying to help you with the knowledge I have, what I've used over the years to create routines that I've created, routines that people enjoy, people love, and more importantly, I feel satisfied with. I'm happy with them. I want to make sure you're comfortable enough because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going a little bit outside of the box with our posing. We're going to be doing poses that not many people are going to hit. You look at the people who are going to be competing against you, they're going to be hitting mandatory poses, guaranteed. You know, and that's what most posing routines consist of nowadays. Is mandatories with little to no mandatory after mandatory with little to no transitions at all. Okay. And a song choice that does not match the mandatories. And that's the biggest thing. I made a post about it recently. You need to match the intensity of the song choice. And nobody thinks about that. And so it's going to be really important for us to pick the right type of music, pick the right poses and the right transitions that are going to go with that. So let's take a look. We're going to go over here, use a mirror. We'll be doing stuff without the mirror later, but I want to kind of take a look at you and see how confident you are in your poses. So obviously you know the mandatories, right?
Yeah, I think
okay. So what I'm going to have you do, and just hear me out here. I'm going to have you hit a mandatory pose, and then I'm going to have you alter a few things. On your own free will, I'm going to have you choose to do it, and I want to see what happens. I want to see how you can alter that pose to make it completely different. Make it different than the pose it started out being. That's awesome. And now change a few things. Let's change a couple of things here. Let's change the angles of your arm, and let's change the foot placement, and see if you can make the pose look any different.
Any different?
Yes. Okay, see, there we go. Perfect, I like that. Small change. So you move this one up, angle stayed the same, open it up a little bit here just to change something. Okay, and let's do the same with the front lat spread. This is gonna be difficult. Hit the front lat
So
spread.
regular?
Yeah, so hit the front lat spread regular, and let's go ahead and change it. Good, and now what would you do to change that? That's gonna be a little bit difficult.
To change it,
To change it to something else.
I'd have to hit some sort of crazy angle. So
I'm trying to be creative here. So where to start. What can you do with the front lat spread?
something like this.
Okay. Now what if you were to take this side and do something different while this side is still flaring the lat out?
Okay.
All right. So flare the lat out and then take that other arm and there we go, something like that. Or even you could even off to the side, straight arm it down, maybe opened up. Something different, okay, there we go. I mean, we're just looking at something different. And your feet are the same, but that's okay. Okay, we're working on one part at a time. I like that, opening it up. Yeah, because full chest looks good. Let's take a look at the, hey, there we go. That's changing it, that's perfect, I like that.
Hi.
Let's take a side pose, go straight to your side chest. Hit it hard, yeah, hit it hard. Good. This one's easy to change. Do anything to this one.
Yeah, you can just go like
This one's
this.
easy to change.
This.
How about you take this, turn it to a straight arm with your right arm, closer to the judges. There you go. Good. And why don't you take your arm furthest and put it into a bicep. Try a little something different. There we go. Keep this one straight, full. There we go. Good. And now put it back into the side chest. Good. Relax for about 5 seconds, and then we'll hit the side tricep, and then we'll take it from there as well.
Okay. This is my bad side. Not that flexible.
Good. Now what can you do to that? Now for a pose like this, what I would personally suggest is, I know we're working on what you're going to think of, but what I would do is I would take that leg, and I would open it up, and I will flare my quads. Okay, so that's what I would do personally, because you could still shoot with the tricep. You still get a shot with the tricep. Right now you're just playing your abs more, and now all of a sudden you've opened up and you've got these quads showing. So it's a little bit something that you would see in old school 60s, 70s bodybuilders looking at a pose like that, like Serge Nabray almost. But that's good. I like that. Let's take it to the back. Let's go for a back double bicep. This one should be easy to change as well.
Good.
Good, hold it, hold it, hold it. Good, and change it. Hey, there we go. Awesome. Let's do something different with your feet. Let's try something different with your foot. Okay, there we go. Look at the glute action. There we go. No, that was good. Perfect, and I see how you're
Like a chick, I'm just.
popping your butt up. No, that's good, perfect. Flare the lats, now go for back lat. Okay, change it. There we go.
Or.
Okay, change the foot position. There we go, perfect. Again, we're just trying to get creative here. Perfect, relax for a second, good. Let's go ahead and hit the, we'll go to the front and we'll do the ab and thigh and we'll do most muscular. Okay, so let's hit the ab and thigh, and this one's gonna be, I mean, you can manipulate this in any way possible, really. This one should be easy. Good, now what can you do different? Perfect. Yeah, that's a good one for you with the abs. I mean, you have ab definition while you're bulking. I mean, year-round abs, so that's awesome. Good, now turn that into a most muscular. Do you do hands on hip or do you do grab?
Do both.
You do both. Okay, so let's take a look at hands on hip and change that. Good, now what can you do to that?
Almost the same thing.
Yeah, no, the foot placement's different though. That makes a big difference. That's gonna make a big difference. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, relax, relax. The whole point of this, again, we're just trying to get you comfortable doing things that you wouldn't normally do. Because everyone's gonna go on stage, and you're gonna line up 15 guys, everyone's gonna hit the front double bicep. And that's what you're getting judged on. And you know, I mean, 99% of the competitors, all they care about is winning. So if they wanna win, they're gonna perfect that pose. If you ask them to step outside of those boundaries, they're not gonna look comfortable at all. Sure. You know, and so that's what we're looking to change here. We're looking to change that. So what I want to do is I want to have you pose for 60 seconds.
Straight.
60 seconds straight.
Oh God.
And we're gonna do this we're gonna do this a couple times. The first time, I just want to see what poses you do for 60 seconds straight. So I'm gonna get the timer out. We want to do 60 seconds. And again, this is coming down to getting comfortable with what you're doing. Okay, 60 seconds. Hit it.
Okay. Is that about 60?
You are at 60 now. Perfect. Good. Okay, that's awesome. That's perfect. We're just getting started here. The second time we do that, in a couple minutes, I'm gonna have you doing it, and you're not gonna be allowed to hit any mandatory poses. Take your time, no hurry.
Okay.
And let's see what you can create, and we'll go from there. All right. Let me get the timer out. Hit it. Not one mandatory. Good, take your time, just try new things. Got 5 seconds. Got it, go relax.
Okay.
So, if I'm posing, just free posing, you know, just working on what looks good, I'll work off each pose. I will work off that pose, I'll change one thing, and then from that change, I'll change one more thing, one more thing, one more thing. And that's what makes things more fluid, transitions end up better, and you get more unique poses. So what will happen is, say if I start with a front double bicep.
Okay.
All right. I'll change one thing, maybe the angle, the tilt here. All right, from that, what I'll do is I'll maybe change to here. So that's 3 different poses I just used, and I started with a front double bicep. Okay, and that was all changes with pretty much my upper body. My foot tilted a little bit, but that was it. So now I'm here. So from here, what am I gonna do? Maybe I'll open up my hand, I'll turn, and I'll display my tricep. That's gonna spike my toe, display my calf and hamstring, and I can go from here easily to this pose here. From there, I could drop my knee, and I can hit another one here. Okay, so one change at a time, all of a sudden I went from the front, now I'm displaying my back. I open up my back here, all right? And something creative, I open it up, I hit the bicep pose, I turn again, and if I want to keep going for a 360, I could turn this way. If I want to display something differently, maybe grab my hip, boom. All right, open it up for the bicep, and I'll turn it around and I'll face the front again. So when I'm hitting my poses, I'm building off of each pose I hit. I might start with a mandatory, but I'm building off of it, and I'm turning it into something completely different. And that's kind of how I I make my poses more creative, I make the routines fluid, instead of thinking too hard. Because once you start doing it that way, you're gonna feel more natural. You're just gonna feel like it's second nature. Just, oh, this pose looks good.
You're dancing.
Let me change this. Oh yeah, exactly. Let me change this, open this, see how this looks. As opposed to, well, I knew that looked good. What else looks good?
Like you're thinking.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I love side tricep. You know what I mean? Let me hit this here. Boom. Okay, and then I can turn that into this, and then it's like, well, okay, I've always wanted to hit a back lat spread on stage. You know what I mean? So that's what you're building off of each pose. So let's go ahead and build off each pose before we do a round of posing that has no mandatories at all with you. Okay. So go ahead and hit it, and we'll see what we can change. Okay, so now from that, let's go ahead and change the positioning of your foot. Okay, so maybe open it up more, go on your toe. And so bring it, yep, there we go, perfect, while you're still flexing. And while you do that, let's go ahead and bring this up. Let's open it up a little bit here. Beautiful, and go ahead and open up your hand. Go ahead and open it up, yeah, there we go. And when you open that one, let's clasp this one. Let's clasp it, yeah, clasp it hard. Good. So now from there, let's go ahead and transition that into, let's take this arm and bring it down like you would for most muscular. Good. Okay, and we'll transition this arm down to match it and do another most muscular. Good, perfect.
Should we put it together now?
Well, what do you want to do from there? We could change that into an ab pose. If you want to go ahead and bring your foot closer, there we go. And you could display the quads. And you could turn it into an ab pose. There we go. And then from there, let's see where we can take that. Okay, if I'm in this pose with you, where can I take this? Okay, I say let's take this to the left. So let's go ahead and make a transition this way. Okay, so now we'll end up with that. Yep, that calf is going to be spiked. Let's go ahead and display the tricep. Good. And then from there, we can even open it up just like what you were going for. Good. And now from there, why don't you suck it in for a side chest pose? Because now we're in this position and you've got a strong side chest pose. So yeah, suck the foot in too. Let's get the side chest pose. Perfect. And now we'll get a little more creative. We'll even drop down onto the right knee from there. And you can hit a bicep pose, displaying the back like that. There we go. Perfect. And now we're down here. Now this is where it gets tricky. You can go ahead and relax with the upper body now. I'm going to talk to you down here. This is where it gets a little bit tricky because now we're completely out of your comfort zone. Now we're just like, well, where am I?
I've never been here before.
Where am I? Exactly. What looks good, you know? And so you got to think about, okay, what's being displayed here? First and foremost, I've got hamstrings, quads, calves that need to be thought about.
Yeah.
And that's gonna hold true for both legs. And you see how you just flattened your foot out there?
Yeah.
That was awesome. Okay, because it was here, and that
You didn't really
completely
see
takes
it.
away from everything. The second you flatten it, now the pose flows more. So now we got to think about, okay, this looks good. We've got roughly right angles here with my legs. What am I going to do with my upper body? Okay, so that's what we got to think about. What do you think would look good? Take a look in that mirror. There you go. You get a bicep pose. That actually looks really good on you because that twist in the torso here is creating a taper that looks really good. So now all of a sudden, yes, that's a pose. That looks good right there. That looks really good. From the position I'm at and the angle I'm at, that looks good. That looks good. Okay, now what can we do from there though? All right, so again, now we're thinking, where do I go? And what you're thinking is, now I want you to think about, where can my feet go? Because that's where it gets complicated. You're like, well, I'm stationary here. All right, and I got this great pose. But what do I do with my feet? You know, what do I do?
Yeah.
And there's so many things you could do. What I would do from here, take a look at this. Say if I have this pose, I got a back shot, and I want to open it up. I would put my weight on this far leg, on my left, and open it up. Now I'm facing, I have a whole new array of poses I could present to the crowd, and the transition was not that hard. Because it went from this to this. So that's how I would build off of that pose. Go ahead and try that. So take that pose, and just switch the feet. There you go, open it up, good. And now you have an entire new set of poses that you could bring to them.
Hardcore hamstring stretch.
There you go, right? Good. And that's another great pose for you because your front double bicep is strong. All right, so from there, again, now we're looking Let's go ahead and stand up. Let's go ahead and relax for a second.
Damn calf.
Yeah.
I never do those ground poses.
How's that feel? Different, right?
Yeah.
That's the idea. Something different, making you think outside of the box. Again, we're not going over specific principles today. We're looking at just overall free posing, just getting comfortable moving because nobody else does poses like that. And the second they see it, they're like, you know, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. And the only reason they don't feel comfortable doing it is because they don't practice it. So let's go ahead and take your front double bicep pose, which looks really good. And we're going to take it from the mirror and then turn you around and make sure you make it so you can't see yourself. I want to see if there's any changes in what you look like. So go ahead and hit that pose facing the mirror so you can correct yourself. This is a regular front double bicep, and then let's have you turn it around, and we'll hit the same pose. And hold it about a good 5 seconds. Good, even better. You know what I'll have you do? Just close your eyes now. Close your eyes, completely close them.
Okay.
Yep. And now, start from scratch. Start from the front relaxed. Good, and see what happens now with no eyesight involved at all, how the pose looks. Good, now let's take that with your eyes closed and change that pose the same way we changed it earlier, just by changing the angles of your arms. Go ahead and do it.
Oh, not my feet?
Both, either. Yeah. Good, and let's take that and transition you to a position where your body is facing the left side of the room now. There you go.
Don't know how to get there, but...
You're getting there. There you go. You're getting there. Yeah.
So wait.
So there you were. Yeah, there you
Back
were.
here. Something like this.
Perfect. Good. Relax. You can open your eyes out. Perfect. Again, I just want you to get moving with no mirror, no visual representation of what you look like whatsoever. Because that's another key. It's going to kind of lead off into a tangent we're going to go over in a minute as far as head positioning, hand positioning. But when you're on stage, as you recall, I'm sure you didn't see any mirrors up there.
No.
Right. So what was it like being on stage when you were up there?
You're just, I almost imagined the mirror, like trying to imagine how I looked, as if there was a mirror, but at the same time remembering the judges are kind of down there.
Right.
The crowd's somewhat a little bit lower.
Right.
Just trying to pose my best without having that mirror to aid me, I guess.
So it's a little different, right? It's different. You practice in front of the mirror.
You don't know what you look like. You're just kind of just trying your best to think about how you look
Right.
while you're doing it.
Right, exactly. And the problem with that, when people are so used to looking in the mirror, is that the second the mirror gets taken away, they get that dumb look on their face. They get that lost. They'll either look for people in the crowd or they'll lose their focus. And so what we do with that, instead of having to worry about looking dumb or lost, we just need to focus on the head positioning and the hand positioning. So that's what we'll talk about briefly. I want to take a look at the hand positioning, because what happened, you hit a pose, and then when you altered it, you opened up your hand. Okay? I've seen you hit that pose before, you're comfortable with it. Okay, that was great. But what about your head positioning in that pose? How can we change it to make it better? Right? Because you're looking at it, okay, it looks good, it looks good, it looks good, it looks good. But it doesn't look good if you're looking into the crowd like this. All of a sudden, it doesn't look good anymore. Now it's kind of scary.
Kind of creepy.
Kind of creepy. So, obviously what you would do is you'd probably want to look up to where your hand was going, right? So on that one, that's almost self-explanatory. You hit the pose, you open it up, and now you're looking where your hand's going. Okay, that's kind of a simple one. What if you were to do something like, let's get more creative, a pose from the side. And we'll say we're looking at a side chest pose. Okay, that's another strong one for you. How would you find a way to look at something, make it almost artistic, different, without looking into the crowd like you lost?
Something like, I guess, look at my own chest or something?
Right, exactly. Right, and that's perfect, because what you did is you're looking at the muscle you're trying to display. And that's what will happen. If I'm going to flare my tricep out, if I do this and I'm not looking in the vicinity of that at all, people might wonder, why is he putting his hand out there? But the second I hit that and I look at it as if I'm admiring that muscle, it changes. So when I look at it, I'm like, oh, okay, that looks good. And then I hit the bicep, and I'm still looking at that bicep. Okay, I'm not looking anywhere else. And when you're hitting the back pose, I'd say it's slightly easier because you're not facing the crowd. But, you know, people are going to fall victim to the same mistakes over and over again. Drawing the attention to the muscle that you want them to focus on. So if you're hitting a most muscular, it's going to change a little bit because now you're not going to look at yourself, you know, in the most muscular. You're not going to hit the pose. But, well, I want them to look at my everything because that's the most muscular. I'm displaying everything, right? So at that point, what do? And that one, that's more of a rhetorical question. Something to think about. With no
that way.
Yeah, there's no specific answer, but the idea behind that is you want to do something with your face, and that's why when you see me, when I'm on stage, personally, when I hit a lot of my poses, the facial expression is more relaxed. I try to stay more focused and relaxed instead of what you see nowadays, which is just a...
Yeah.
You know, because it's true, it's been said before, to a certain extent, the harder you hit a pose, the more it looks the same. So you could be making the worst facial expression you want because you're in that much pain because you've been dieting for 50 weeks and you're hitting this pose with everything you've got and it doesn't look any better than if you just hit it more relaxed, right? But what would look better? Again, it's a rhetorical question. But if I'm doing the most muscular, what I would do, I'd hit the pose, most muscular, and maybe I would just look off into the distance. I have a picture like that where I'm looking off here. But I'm calm and I'm relaxed and I'm just looking and it's not a loss there. It's something where I meant to look in that direction and the crowd is going to know it. The crowd doesn't see me kind of looking around wondering. The crowd's going to see me hit the pose and look off in that direction. And then from there, I'll make my transition. So it's just getting comfortable again with where your head is that you have to constantly think about every time. Where are you looking? What facial expression am I? You might be looking in the right place to make it look dramatic or make it look good, but then you might have the wrong expression as well, and all of a sudden you have a weird look on your face, you know, or you smiled or laughed or something, you know. So there's so much to think about, and with that, on top of that, now we're going to talk about your hands, because that's going to play a big part in how you look. More so in the creative poses, not so much in the mandatories. When people hit the mandatories, yeah, exactly. You can't really, unless you're a female physique competitor, they do that. But for us, it's not really, you know, you hit the mandatory, that's fine, closed fist, perfect. But the second you start to open them, we can get creative. There's more that can be done with your hands than people are doing nowadays. So they'll either keep them closed really tight, or they'll open up a little bit. And then, of course, the most common one is the one we were displaying earlier, where you'll open it up, and then you have it here. Okay. But we want to get even more creative than that. All right. And that, again, is going to be determined by just what pose do we choose, and then what transitions we use. And we're going to build off of that and pick different hand positions that might go with that pose. But for instance, I have a pose where I'm down here, and I've turned, and this is up here. Okay, slightly different, just slightly different. The pose is similar to this, but slightly different. But the hand position is different. That's the key to that. The hand position was just different. It just opened up in a different way, balled up in a different way, turned in a different way. And that's what we're trying to get, is just being comfortable, doing new things, trying new things. Your shoulders, I'm going to tell you this, you're tight. You are so big that you are tight. We're going to be stretching after this, but a lot of the being comfortable with the transitions is obviously flexibility. You want to be able to move comfortably. I just want to go ahead and hit some mandatory stretches that I do at the end of just about every workout to help me with flexibility, which helps me with posing. So you stretch. I know you do. I've seen your videos. You hit the foam roller. You know, I mean, you're on top of that. But I want to make sure that everything that is involved in posing is going to be loose, not tight. Everything. So even on my leg days, I'll hit this stretching routine, and like I said, ideally I'll do it 30 minutes post-workout. Nice calm time to relax. So we'll stretch out the quads, lay on your back. And this is a position that's most likely uncomfortable for most people already, right? But this would be a quad stretch, okay, targeting at the quads. And what I'll do from there is I'll
Should I be trying this or no?
You know what?
Should I just wait?
You know, we can relax and wait,
Okay.
and then we'll give it a shot.
Okay.
We'll give it a shot right after this, but dropping right into the quad stretch, and from there I like actually loosening up my lower back, because what's gonna prevent me from making smooth transitions when I'm actually turning my body, turning my torso, it's gonna be my lower back being tight, you know, my core being tight. Obviously there's gonna be a lot more than just that, but if I'm trying to turn my torso and I have never once stretched any area of my back and actually twist at the waist, it's not going to look very good, it's not going to look very pretty. So this is what I do personally, okay? I always grab the arm and I pull it, and I'll feel it stretch all the way up almost to my lats if I'm pulling hard enough. And it feels great. So I'll come up from there, and what I like to do is I like to incorporate certain movements of yoga, certain downward dog positions, and back stretches, ab stretches. So I'll go from there and I'll do a cat stretch. I mean, it could be called, there's a lot of different names for it, but you know, stretching out here. I'll go for a pose here, and this is how this position right here is how I created two poses that I'm actually really happy with. The poses where my quad was displayed out here was from this position. Also the pose where my hamstring was displayed in a very similar position was from being in this position and realizing while I was stretching, looking in the mirror, that my chest and shoulders and my arms are displayed pretty well from the side, you know. So that's another thing that we're going to take into consideration, of course, is the audience, what they're going to see. Because you might hit a good pose from here, but if you're here, it might not look good. You know, if you're here, it might not look good. So we got to take that into consideration, along with everything else that we're taking into consideration. But let's go ahead and get your quads stretched out. Do you feel like you can do that with one leg? So if you put one leg down on the floor, and
lean back on it?
And just lean back on it. How do you feel with that? Let's give it a shot, as long as we don't blow any kneecaps. The leg's gonna go out to the side, other way. So your foot,
which way?
This one, the other foot.
one?
Yes.
Like this?
Yep,
Same?
perfect. Yeah, there you go. Good. And what you'll do is you'll lean back on that. Obviously you're stretching the quads. And you'll lean back on that. And that, you actually look pretty flexible leaning back on it. And how does it feel? Is it tight?
It's a little tight in like the ankle right here, but
Okay.
the foot itself.
Okay, and that's good that I mean, even the feet themselves, the way we stretch, we want to make sure that we...
Let me just fall real quick.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Yeah. There you go. That's
Oh
perfect. Does that feel good at all?
Yeah, it's really painful.
Outside of all the pain in the quad. Now, how often do you stretch while you're in this painful position?
Not like this. I do yoga maybe once every other week.
Okay.
So.
Now, hold on, before you go any further. Is that a load of bullshit or is that true? Because most people will say, yeah, I'll do it. And I mean, I say I do yoga. I haven't done a yoga class for a month or two. Possibly even since my competition. But I love doing it, and coming up to a comp, I do them. When's the last time you did a yoga class?
About 2 weeks ago.
Oh, 2 weeks ago. Okay, so it was 2 weeks ago. Awesome. Let's get the other leg while we keep talking. Because that's the thing, is that a lot of times people are guilty of tricking themselves into thinking they're doing things that they're not doing. And I say that because everyone says they...
We all do it.
Yeah, we all do it. We all do it. For stretching, for cardio. I did cardio. No, you did a 5-minute warm-up and cool down. You know, but that's how human body works. Everyone wants to... I mean, you just trick yourself into thinking you're doing more than you are. This stretch right here is that leg doesn't look as tight, as loose as the other leg.
Well, really, it's just feels like this. I don't know where to put my foot in a position that.
Oh, okay. Well, if you can tuck it back, that'd be great. Can it get tucked back, or is your actual shins too tight?
My shins.
Like your anterior tibialis might be, pretty tight.
Like I
as
can't
well.
really go like this too much.
Okay.
Like turn it, it's pretty tight.
Okay, so just again, something we'll be working on, the flexibility. Nice, Rob. You look
Max never
comfortable.
looks so awkward.
Yeah, I'm just getting owned.
Come on up. Let me show you and one of the biggest reasons for you, we're talking about foot flexibility.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, when I'm hitting the
Yeah.
pose,
Because I mean,
you'll see bodybuilders do this. Right, and
yeah,
they'll come down here,
but no-
any further, their ankles can't handle it.
Yeah.
Right, their ankles couldn't do it. But if I'm down here and that foot is still planted, that's flexibility, and that's gonna show. That's gonna display in your poses if that foot can still be planted and your leg is all the way out here, as opposed to it being so tight that you have to buckle at the knee. All right. So again, that's something that we're going to be incorporating the flexibility routine in. It is to get the flexibility, allow your body to be held comfortably in different positions. That's going to allow your pose to be completely unique, completely different, because nobody else is going to be as loose as you. They're going to be tight. They'll buckle. They'll try to hit a pose that's creative here, and they'll stop here, and they'll come back up. You'll be able to go all the way down. You'll be able to transition. You'll be able to move wherever you want. Okay, so you got the quad stretch.
what's next?
Let's go ahead and just get the back stretch where we were down here.
Okay.
The thing about this pose, take a look at me from the side.
Yeah.
Pose, this stretch. You actually, what I want you to do, once you get comfortable here, I want you to be up on your feet. So you take a look at my thighs, not touching.
Not
All
touching
right?
the ground?
Not touching the ground.
Okay.
Not touching the ground. So you're up on your actual feet. There's pressure on the foot. There's pressure on the hand. Good. Perfect. And now from there, as you're stretching, go ahead and deviate your shoulder position a little bit here. So you have to press it. Go ahead and raise it. Good, good, good. Keep holding it. Good, go and yeah, twist a little bit. Perfect. We'll take that straight to the knees, and we'll finish off this posing with the arm getting stretched through. Exactly. And can you tell me what that's stretching?
How far? Do you want me to go?
Yeah, right about
Well,
that.
that's just my torso, lat.
Yeah, lats, post delts.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you're putting pressure on that arm, and you're getting a good stretch right in the torso. So a lot of these stretches that we do in the beginning of the stretching routine deal with your torso, the mobility in the hip area, things like that. So ideally this stretching, these were 3 or 4 different stretches, they would incorporate the first 5 to 8 minutes of the posing, the stretching routine. From there, we would obviously do more. We'll be saving that for next time I see you. But these are the kind of stretches that I would do on a daily basis if possible. Now that's of course ideal, but humans aren't machines, right? So we can't do everything ideal. So, I mean, if you could do it every other day, just post-workout, along with your myofascial release, with your foam rolling, that would be ideal, because with all the muscle growth that you've had in this off season, came a lot of strength and a lot of tightness that we want to make sure doesn't show up on stage. Now your biceps, I guarantee, are going to be tight. But from there, this almost looks like you're going to hyperextend. And if you have problems with your joints being hyperextended, you'd want to be careful with that.
Okay.
But for this one, if you lean backwards while your hand is still planted, that's going to do it. So you're leaning forward here, but the second you start leaning backwards,
Yeah.
all of a sudden,
Yeah, good stretch.
all of a sudden, it becomes not just biceps, it becomes wrists. And that's a pretty important stretch for the arm flexibility. We'll drop down, we'll open up the hips a little bit, because that's going to be a big thing for you, is opening up your hips. Can you get your butt on the floor? Quads are tight.
I really go to the floor.
Okay, so as low as you can go. My butt's on the floor, your butt will be on the floor come June,
Okay.
real easy. But while you're getting that stretch, we'll stretch the tricep as well. So we'll throw the arm overhead, and you'll grab that elbow, and you'll pull it. And when you pull it, Matt, I want you to also go ahead and turn
your actual torso and tilt. Because that turns that stretch from just a tricep stretch. Now I've got my quads already being stretched, my tricep stretched, and now I'm stretching almost my lat and my lower back.
Okay.
And we'll go ahead and switch sides on that. That does feel good. Oh, good deal. All right, man, we'll come on up. We'll be throwing in more stretches every time I see you. Definitely. Let's go ahead and get some. I'd say those are the hard choices of music to post to.
I think so.
Yeah, the epic music, because even when you look at the posing routines of like Ronnie Coleman, you know, I mean, some of them, they're huge guys. I mean, even when you look at a physique like that physique almost doesn't stand up to that kind of music. When I hear some of the, and I mean, this might not be the same type of music you're talking about, but like epic, you know, I feel like it's like the Roman Empire is taking over the world. You know, that's how I feel. And then when I see one man on stage, I'm like, it's hard to match the intensity of that epic taking over the world feel with
One person doing mandatory.
one person doing mandatory. Exactly, thank you. So what I'm saying is that would be a more advanced routine, and it's going to be fun if we create one like that. Let's put it that way. I mean, it'd be like I said, it'd be harder, and I wouldn't suggest it for people who aren't comfortable. But I think we'll be able to make a really damn good routine. It'll be difficult, but you know, we got to make sure it. Like when you see someone like Moji, he poses really well to dubstep, and nobody will pose well to dubstep.
Sure.
Nobody poses well to dubstep because they don't think about it. They just kind of pose to it.
Yeah.
And the intensity of dubstep is that where you have to be extremely powerful with your poses.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, then the intensity doesn't match, and then it does not do the posing justice. So, I mean, if I look back personally into the posing routines I've done, I had the Dirty Diana. I had thank you. I had the Phil Collins in the Air of the Night, and that was a slower pace, which had a build-up, which is where I cut the song at that point. If you remember, the build-up led to the splits with the back double bicep. Exactly. So it had a build-up, it had a climax, and that's powerful. You got to think about the people in the audience are going to be hearing this on a loudspeaker. It's going to be really loud. So you want to make them feel chills, you know, when they're watching the song along with you posing to it. So I think that's going to be the toughest part for us, is to create. You know, you have the physique that will go along with it. As long as we get the poses down, you know, and your transitions and everything comfortable enough, it'll be really big.
Okay. Got a lot of time.
Yeah, that's fine. That's the good thing, is that we're starting this now. Most people don't start it until, you know, a month before. That's a big problem.
1 week out for me.
Yeah, well, yeah, 1 week
That's
exactly.
what I like to do.
That's what most people do. So, yeah, we'll take a look at what do we got.